This is David Moss, and today I want to show you where we're at on our 1980 Pontiac Trans Am Restomod. A lot of you might have watched. I redid the flanker pans and redid the interior. Now, as you can see, we've yanked out the engine. So no more engine in there. It's right here. I got to get it completely redone. We're going through it all. We had a broken harmonic balancer, which meant I had to do some work on it, and figured, screw it, might as well go ahead and do all this stuff. So the front dog, pretty much everything's off. We're putting the new Trans Am fenders on. Did run into an issue, bought some used fenders, and one of them had a bunch of Bondo, so now I've got to deal with that. The other one, the blue one, that's right there, is pretty good. Also, got most of my metal in, so as you can see, my quarter panel, you'll notice she's rusted. So definitely going to use that. Of course, not going to use the whole thing. Probably going to go right underneath that light if at all possible, so I can keep that nice curve and just add it. And then of course in front of that you can't see, there's another hole there if you haven't noticed it before. Also got the back end. So you see, just rusted just enough. They had undercoated this whole thing, but 40 years. So just rusted enough to cause me issues there. So I got that, and I got the rear railing, which all I need is the ends, because once it gets about less than a foot back, that thing is solid. But as you can see, the ends are rusted completely out. So I had to buy this thing, which that one I bought used. It was a pretty good deal. A friend of mine, my boy works with, sold it to me for $80. He had it, so that was great. But it's $300 a whack. So with time to do shipping, so I'm having to replace both of them. Like I said, you get just enough far back. So most likely what I'll do, this is going to be my first one I do, is probably want to cut it right about here or right after the bend, and then just put it in and weld it together, because there's no sense replacing the whole thing. Everything else is solid. I mean, it's solid underneath there. That's the only issue I have, is right where they come together. It's where that rusted at. On this side, I didn't order a new one because you can see she's not that bad. Got underneath over, she does have a little hole. We'll knock that out and patch panel that, just patch it up. Now, I did order a new panel for this, do a patch panel, because it's bad enough I'm about to get in there. So I figure I'm about to go up. I don't want to lose anything, because you can see it's just a big hole, just a lot of work. So I've got that ordered. It hasn't showed up yet. I will say this. Every time I think I've got it figured out, all I'm going to do, I run the more. It's just like anything else from Indiana. You rust, you got rust. So we run a little bitty things here and there. And like I said, just to show you, there's the fender that I bought. I was supposed to have been a beautiful fender. It looked decent. I didn't see anything wrong with it. It's kind of dark in the building because it didn't have electricity. Brought it home and then had it in my shop for a while, in that back room, and then my boy went to go do some work, and we noticed right off the bat it was wavy. So he tore it down, took it to work, and found out it was all Bondo. This was beat all the way. I mean, this thing was just awful. So he got all the Bondo out, but it's just too worse. I mean, look at this. This is just, I don't know about how great of getting that straight. So instead, we're going to change the plane up a little bit. I'm going to cut this out, because this still saved me a lot of money. I bought the fender for $100 with this. These are $259 by themselves. So, like I said, I salvaged that out of it. And fortunately for me, the Firebird fender, the Formula one, is perfect on that side. It was rusted out on the other side. So the blue one that I got is perfect, so it just worked out great for me. So we're going to cut that, and we're going to put it in there, and we're going to make it to where it works, and you won't be able to tell. And of course, drill the holes to put the ground effects on. So, a lot of stuff, and as you see, a lot of parts out here just laying around. This thing was so rusty, I had to actually order a new battery box. I mean, if all the things to have to get, you can just see battery box just gone. So I had to order a new battery box, and then right in front of it's not rusty at all. So here we are working on the 1980 Trans Am that we're Restomodding, and as you can see, I bought a set of fenders, and this one was completely crap. It had Bondo in it. We beat it out. It was just awful, and we couldn't fix it. Luckily, on the same side, I had a good fender. The other side was rusted, so it's perfect. So So we cut that out, the louver out, to make this a Trans Am fender. And I just got done welding it in. And as you can see, it looks pretty. We're about to do some body work. You can hear my boy doing body work as we speak. And of course, that's with the louver in it. It'll look good right there. And that looks nice. So it came out really good. Like I said, we're going to make this one work. We're going to put the hose in it for the grunt effects and such. And like, once again, my boy doing body work. He's doing a skim coat on this one. Just to make sure it's all perfectly straight and good. There's actually no actual dents in this thing hardly at all, but we want to make sure it's completely straight. But it's beautiful. It's going to be nice. We're going to have this straight enough that when you shoot it black, if I go black, I don't know what color I'm doing yet, you won't have to worry about any waves. That's the whole point. So this one will be getting the same thing. And then we're going to go on to the outside. I got a lot of welding to do, a lot of rust removal. So, you know, just keep watching. You'll see a lot of that going on here. Thank you and God bless. So here we are on the driver's side rear corner panel. You can see that I cut off this right here. Then I ran into this being rusted. Matter of fact, that's it. So it was rusted. So we cut it across it. We made this, which bends and everything holds nicely. So that's underneath. Next thing I'm gonna do is put the, I've got the patch panel, cut it, put it on here and weld it up. Make this part look nice, and then we got to do that over there, a small patch panel there, and then a couple small ones on the other side. And of course, the major one we got to take care of is this here back panel. It's that just lovely rusty, but we'll get it all taken care of and just kind of showing what we're doing and how's it looking. It's coming out pretty good. Hopefully, we get this thing done pretty quickly, and then of course, I still got the whole engine bay compartment. You have to mind the mess. But there's the engine upside down with no heads and took it completely apart. And then I clean this. I got new mounting bushings because of that, so I can fix that. Pretty much just getting this thing set up real nice. When we get done, it's going to be like all new kind of car. So just get to see how much farther we go progress on this. Okay, so we're about to cut the back end of this. You can see my outline. I'm going to cut that just like that. A lot of people want to change the whole thing out, but the one that I bought is not exactly, I mean, it's pretty dang close, but it's like a 1/4 inch wider when you do the measurements, and I don't feel like having to fight that. So what I'm going to do is take out all the bad rusted areas. So we're going to take all the whole bottom end off, as you can see. And then just going to go up there because there's lines that I can match up exactly, and that'll be better that way. And we're also going to take care of, while we're in there, we're going to take care of these because I've got new railings. So we'll get that off, get this off, take on these. And I got a couple of spots that I just found. I started beating on the trunk to see where all the bad spots was. And of course, I got 2 bad spots, right? One on each side. We'll be taking care of that too. So we're going to be taking care of all that. And then once we get this done the way we want, there'll be no more rust back here. And then, of course, we're going to undercoat and save it. And as you see right here, we've already made a new inner fender right there. And the other one goes on top of that. It'll be right here. It'll come down. I've got that over there, but I want to get this side done so I can make sure I match it up right. This here is just kind of tacked that hold it where it's supposed to be held at. You see on that side. When I get over there, we're not going to have that. And then the good news is on that side over there, we just have 2 little patch panels to put in. I got a little bit of rusty spot there. We'll be able to knock out, fix, clean up, and then a little rust spot there. Now it looks worse than what it is, but I beat on it, and that's the most it is. So I'll be able to clean that out pretty good, build me up my own patch panel. The other side, I've already cut one, and I'm going to have to come over here and do the same thing to this side. Of course, I have the patch panel for this. But you can see, bam. I also actually have the patch panel for the other side. This right here on the other side. So I can use much of one that comes all the way up to right about here on the curve, which is fine. Whoop, focus in. But yeah, get that all taken care of. Then we're pretty much going to be done with the back side. And then I've got to decide, once we put the metal on, we're going to go ahead and take this rear window out and then look for the spots, because I'm betting that there's some issues in here because that's where it was leaking at. and we'll have to fix those and then put it back in. We'll epoxy primer it before we put it back in, because it'll probably be next year before we actually paint it. Right now we're just going to get it all epoxied up and done nicely. So like I said, once I get this cut, I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like cut, and then we'll do some more work. I'll put the new patch panel on and we'll start welding up and show it off when we get it done. Okay, so I cut out what I needed to on this. You can see it's over there. We're going to patch panels, but first, as you can see, like always, when you're digging into rust, you find other places that need to be fixed. Now, luckily, I have these. I have one ordered and one on this. I'm just going to go past the leaf springs, cut it off, and then weld in the new one. So this will all be taken care of. But this here, you can see here, it's halfway solid. I do have a hole right there. Gonna take care of, and then it stops right here. So we'll get a patch panel that's gonna take care of this over. We'll get this taken care of too, because I don't want to do the whole thing because it's welded into this with these spots, and it's solid once you get past this. Like the bottom of it just kind of rusted out. Same thing on that side. You can see now it's the better of the two sides. You can see how it rusted out, and of course that is the better of the two sides. Gonna have to make me one of these pieces of metal that will go over here, because there's nothing holding this where it needs to be. So I'm gonna make one that goes right here, because that's what that has, and then that will make that solid. Pull this out, fix it, fix this here. It's only one bad spot there and one bad spot there. We'll get that fixed and patched. Pull the trunk basically almost apart to do it. Like I said, you've seen a couple extra spots I have in the trunk. Not super bad, but a couple little holes that wasn't there until I started beating on them with a hammer to find out where the weak spots were. But that's how you have to find the rust and get it fixed. I want no surprises. Tank's got to be dropped. Like I said, we're gonna get it all taken care of, and then after I put the new one of these in, before I close it in, of course I'll do what I did on this side, and that is simply to coat it. See, look at that, and that's coated, so you don't have to worry about it rusting. And then when I'm said and done, I will coat the underneath, and then take care of it. And that's an undercoating spray that I use. Good sex. And then once we get this welded up, I'm gonna come back over here, and I'm going to put the fender on, and that way it'll tell me. So once I get this fixed here, get the whole thing put in, put the fender on this side, then I'll go ahead and take care of the little patches I have. And then of course I've got the trunk spots to take care of, which is right there and right there. Take care of those two spots, get them cleared out, and then she's good to go. We will get ready to epoxy primer, and like I said, pull the back window out, take the trunk off, because this is broken. You can see I got a Poe. These things break. I want to replace it, but you had to take the window out to do it. So since I got to take the window out to look at the seals, get new seals, and also check and see if there's any rust holes underneath that, when water gets into places. I'm going to go ahead and take care of that too. So this is where we're at. I'll come back to you when we get the patch panels on and show you what it looks like. Okay, here's the patch panel I cut out. Now, I'm not ready to put this in because I still got to do the underneath patch panels, as you can see, but we did get it cut out. I put it up there, and it just about needs to be trimmed just a little bit, and then it will be welded on. Now I just got to take care of that piece right there, and those right there in the ends, which, like I said, get those taken care of, and then these ready to be put together, and then I can do the other side and go pretty quickly. This is going to be the hardest part out of it. It's going along pretty nicely. I spent all day on this, believe it or not. Just this back end, but yeah, we're going to show you once we get this on there and what it looks like. I just can't wait to get this car going, so get back to work. Okay, so here we are, and what I've done is fixed the underneath. This is behind the pan. It's going to clamp down here. I'm going to drill holes and weld it in. I know it doesn't look perfect because I had to beat it down when I put this on to test fit it. It was bulging out, so I had a bead on it. So you have to forgive the way it looks. I just repainted again after beating the crap out of her. But yeah, this is what it looks like. So a clamp to these. This is chewed up, but it's just from it hitting stuff. It's not actually rusted right there or anything. But this will definitely hold everything I need to hold. I'm gonna put this on. We're about to put it on and go ahead and take care of it. So Just showing that to see what it looks like and what we're doing. And then, of course, probably show this again, but we did get the side on there. See, that looks pretty good. It's done, ready to be body fitted and such. Okay, here we are. Finally got the back end on, welded up. Still gotta be Duraglass is all. Check the bumper, make sure it worked on there. Hose didn't exactly line up. I had to wall them out a little bit, but no big deal. And then these did line up right where they're supposed to. That's exactly where it's supposed to be, but those there for some reason were just a little off. We drilled the hose and made them look good, but look how. Now it still has to be Duraglass. Then we're going to epoxy it for now, and then later on we'll paint the whole car. But it's going to be nice when I get done doing this. You won't be able to tell that this has ever been touched. It's all, and look at this. It's solid, including down here. Look at that. All 100% solid, like new. No rusty. This thing has almost completely done with the rust on it. I got the floor pans on, as I showed a video of. We've got the side right there on there. Still got to Duraglass that, get it prepped. That part was both the back end behind it and that was gone, so I had to rebuild both of those. And then, of course, we do still have this spot right here that I'm going to take care of. And then on the other side, which I have, that's right there. I have just this piece I bought right here just for this. Be able to replace that. This one here I didn't worry about. It's so small. I'm just going to cut that out. Put a piece of metal in there. Fix it. And on the other side, I still have what's left over of this big fender here that I had all the way across. We'll cut it out and do the bottom of that. So it's looking really good. Getting rid of all the rust. It's really solid now. So this will be really nice when we get done with it. A lot of work. Like always, when you do these, you run into other little issues. And there's the the trunk looked good until we did it, and it has two small holes. You can see it there and there, same spot. It's not that big of a deal. Nowhere else does it have any holes in it. I beat on it with a hammer until I found every hole I could. So we'll get it taken care of and fixed. Be a nice little setup. So just letting you see what it looks like now, and when we get it all epoxied, I'll probably bring it back. Also, just to show what the fenders look like now, because they're about done. So here's the one that I cut out and put it back in. It's all body work's all done to it. And then here's the blue one, Trans Am fender, skim coated, body work's all done with it. So they're ready for epoxy primer just about. So they'll be epoxy before long, and then just got to do the nose, so the front cap will be completely done with epoxy. And then we can start on the back hatch. Now the issue I'm going to run into, it's going to be real fun, is when I take this out, because we know that we have leaking seals. That's what caused the floor to rot, because it wasn't from underneath. They actually undercoated the whole thing. It was from this leaking, and you have some metal here that I had to just weld up and grind down. So most likely there's some hose in the metal here. So we pull that out, we'll have to do that body work, take care of that. And then of course I still have this to take care of, which I have to order this whole sheet. This might not be done this round, but it will be done. I'll be pulling the front window out. I'm going to take the front windshield out. We'll take the dash out and then just replace it. Most likely buy one and just cut it and then just replace it like we've done everything else. So it's nice and done. And then the engine is over there. The heads are being milled and such for it right now. I didn't have a blown head gasket, but I pulled it apart. 40 years old. I couldn't trust it, so I went ahead and had the heads done, getting it all cleaned up. You can see this has got to be all cleaned up yet. And then I've got new body mounts for that, and they're right here. So we'll be taking care of the right here, the body mounts on that shortly. So that's all the body mounts. So it's going to be like a new car when it comes down to it. It'll be nicer, and we're going to clean everything else up and get this thing running out good. Hopefully I'll have it running in about by July. Have what's out running. Hopefully all epoxy, but I'm not sure. Now it is. I like to get a lot of things done, but just don't have a lot of time. We hit these things on the weekends. I literally push everything over because this is my business. Pull the car in and just start working the crap out of it through the whole weekend. 12, 16-hour days, and then pull it back out, put everything back in, and start doing my work on Monday through Friday because I have a lot of business I got to get taken care of. A lot of customers wanting their bikes done. It's the summertime. So, like I said, we'll show this again once I get that Duraglass, and then see where we're going to be on epoxy and such. So, I appreciate it.